Hello everybody, welcome back. So in my video today, I'm going to be introducing you to one of my newest additions to my little animal family we got going on here. Now, I'm sure if any of you guys are familiar with my channel, then you already know I have quite a few pets. One of them being a veiled chameleon who I got about a year ago, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know he's doing absolutely great. He lives in a massive 6-foot tall cage, so he's living a good life. Sure, if you guys have seen a few of my videos, you already know that, but anyways, we're not talking about him today. We're talking about a new friend. So I'm sure you already know by the title, but I got a new chameleon. Wow, yay. And he is actually in the cage that you see behind me right here. That's his cage. So I got a carpet chameleon. Yay, that's the kind of chameleon I got. If you are familiar with chameleons, you probably maybe know what a carpet chameleon is. And if you're not so familiar with chameleons, then you probably have no idea what a carpet chameleon is. Anyways, a carpet chameleon is a type of chameleon. Wow. They're a fairly small species of chameleon. As you guys know, like I said before, I do have a veiled chameleon. I do have a veiled chameleon, and they do kind of get a little bit large. I mean, they're not massive by any means, but they're on the larger size. And carpets are on the tiny size. They're little tiny boys. So I'm going to start the video right off and introduce him to you guys. Chameleons don't really like to be handled a ton, so I'm going to show him to you quickly, then I'm going to talk to you about him, and then I'll show you some more footage of him after. But I wanted to show him to you guys so that people aren't just commenting, oh my god, you talk so much and I didn't even get to see the animal. I'm basically just doing that for his sake. Like I said, chameleons don't like to be handled much, so I'm not going to force him to stay out here while I talk about him. But let's get to meet him a little bit. I'm sure as I have him out longer, his colors will actually start to change. Typically, he tends to lighten up when I hold him, which you can kind of already see him doing. He will go quite light whenever I'm handling him. Carpet chameleons are a very small species of chameleon. He might get a little bit bigger, but he honestly probably won't grow a ton. He is a juvenile. He's not considered an adult yet, but he's close to it. So while he might grow a little tiny bit, this is probably close to his full size. So he has been absolutely perfect so far. I literally have nothing bad to say about him or any of my experiences owning him so far. So he eats great, he sheds great, he poops great, he's active, he's healthy. So I'm just so happy with how everything has turned out so far. He's starting to get a little crazy now. He's getting kind of anxious and stressed, so I'm going to go ahead and put him back in his enclosure now, and then we will talk more about him. Well, carpet chameleons aren't rare in the wild or anything. Like, it's not like they're going extinct or anything. You don't really see them too often in the pet trade. I don't want to say they're like super duper rare, you'll never see one in your life, anything like that, because that's not really the case. They're not super duper rare, anything like that, but they are on the less common side of the pet trade, so you could kind of call them like rare in the pet trade. Again, it's not like there's some magical diamond that you'll only ever see once in your life kind of rare, but like in the pet world, not that common. They're a little bit rare in the pet world. Ever since I started owning chameleons, well, I mean, even before I started owning chameleons, I was always very interested in chameleons. Like when I was a kid, chameleons were some of the first animals that interested me as a pet. But obviously chameleons are fairly advanced animals, so it's not something you want to just jump in lightly and go out and buy one at the pet store, because it'll probably die if you do that. They're quite advanced and they have very specific care requirements, so I wasn't about to just go out and get a chameleon when I was 8 years old, even though I thought they were cool. I waited until I was 18, like a responsible adult human does. So after having a lot of success with my veiled chameleon, I decided I want another one. Honestly, if it were up to me, like if I had the time and money and space and everything, I would own like 5,000 chameleons. They're one of my favorite animals. One of my favorite reptiles to own by far. I think they're awesome, and there's so many different species I want, but I can't do that right now, so I wanted to get a second one. 2 will do for now. I don't need 5,000, but you know, 2 is nice. One of the species that I was interested in were carpet chameleons. So I don't know, I just really like these chameleons a lot, so they were definitely one I was interested in. One of the ones I had researched, I have known pretty well their care for a while now, because literally I've been researching chameleons for a long time, even before I had one, because like I said, they were always something I wanted to own. So I knew quite a lot about carpet chameleon care. Now that you kind of have a little backstory on my chameleon, we can talk about how I actually got him. So I got this little guy here a while ago. I've had him for a little while now, but really anytime I get a new animal, before I introduce them to you guys, I want to give them some time to settle in, make sure they're doing good. I want to quarantine them and all of that stuff. So I've actually had him for a while now. He has already been quarantined. He is out of quarantine. He's doing really good. So now's the time that I get to introduce him to you. So I actually got this little chameleon here from a website called All Reptiles. They are a reptile store located in Ontario, Canada. I believe they're just outside of Toronto, but they're a really awesome store from everything I've seen. I've actually never been able to visit them in person, but I do know people who have talked about them before. I've obviously seen them online. I've emailed with them. I've talked to the people who work there and everything, and they were selling this little carpet chameleon, and I immediately saw him and we were excited because, like I said, this is one that I had been quite interested in for a while, but just really never had the opportunity to get one before now because they aren't super common to find. Immediately when I saw him for sale, I contacted the employees who work at All Reptiles, and I asked if he was wild caught or captive bred, and to be honest, I was 100% expecting them to say that he is wild caught, because most carpet chameleons are, and I wasn't hoping that they would say that because I don't want to buy a wild caught chameleon. I only want to get it if it's captive bred, and yay for me, he was captive bred. He was captive born and bred right in Ontario, so that was fantastic news for me. So I was super excited, and it all happened. Then I got this chameleon. They sent him out to me, and I am so happy for that. So anyway, now we can actually get into some footage of the chameleon, and now that I've talked all of your ears off. So we will start with some unboxing footage because, like I said, I did have to have him shipped to me. He came from Ontario, Canada. I live in Nova Scotia, Canada. Ontario is kind of in the middle of the country. I'm way on the east coast, so he was shipped to me, so I did film myself unboxing him. So that was the unboxing. Once again, I got him from All Reptiles. They shipped him right to me. No complaints, all of their shipping was really good. He arrived nice and safe and healthy. So if you guys happen to be in Canada and you're ever looking for some new pet reptiles, I would highly suggest checking out All Reptiles. I do literally look at their website all the time. They do have some cool things quite often, and they had this little guy and I'm so excited about it. I'm so happy. So now that you guys have seen his unboxing, now that you guys have been introduced to him, let's take a look at his cage. I feel like that might be kind of interesting to do a little cage tour or something, so let's go and do that. So this is what his cage looks like from here. I'm actually going to go ahead and turn his fogger off quickly just because it kind of makes it hard to fully see the cage, so I'll just turn that off really quick so we can take a look at the cage, and here it is. If you guys have been watching my channel for a while, you might actually recognize this cage from a few things. The first thing this cage ever was Pascal, who is my veiled chameleon. This is his first cage he was ever in when I got him as a baby, and now he is in this really big cage. So he's grown a little bit, and so is his cage. So Anyway, so after Pascal came out of this cage, Mark went in it. Mark is my day gecko. Mark was in here for a little while, but eventually I wanted to move him out. I wasn't really loving the screen cage for a day gecko. It did work just fine. He was healthy in it, but it just wasn't my favorite. This cage was empty once again, and now it belongs to my new chameleon. I'm going to go ahead and open the door so we can get a better look inside. And voila, there it is. So this cage is a 16 by 16 by 30 Zoomed Reptiles. It is the medium one. So all of the plants in this cage are completely live. There is no fake plants or anything. It is all live. It's not as full as I would like it to be. Ideally, I would like the plants to fill up this area here some more, but obviously plants don't grow like in a day. They obviously take some time to grow, but it is growing very well. You can see the money tree here growing some new leaves. A lot of these ones up here are new growth, so the plants are doing really well. So I'm pretty confident that this will fill out over time, but obviously you can't just expect live plants to fill out in like a week, so I'm being patient. But I mean, even though it's not as full as I would like it to be, it is fully functional. I think it works great for my chameleon. The bottom especially is quite full. He does have a lot of hiding places. There is a lot of places he can feel secure, and it's a little more open up at the top, but that's typically where he basks anyways. So in order to bask, he does have one branch here and one branch here, and there is a little bit of a temperature gradient there. I actually have the thermometer right there, which measures 83 degrees Fahrenheit. This one up here is around 90, so he can kind of select. He wants to be a little warmer, a little cooler, and of course the lower down you get in the cage, the cooler it gets, and it also gets more humid. Right up here at the top of the cage is around 43% humidity, and then you can see down at the bottom of the cage it is 99% humidity, but that's well just because the substrate itself is quite moist to keep the plants alive and everything. So overall there is kind of both a temperature gradient and a humidity gradient. So once again, I said all of these plants are live, but then obviously these vines here are fake. Vines are to give him some nice climbing and perching spots, so that's what the vines do, and obviously he can climb on the plants as well. Since he is such a small chameleon, the branches of the money tree do support his weight, so he has lots of places to climb, lots of places to feel secure, and yeah, he's hanging out right back there. He's kind of hard to see. He likes to hide, but there he is. So you can kind of see him right there in comparison to the rest of his cage. As you can see, it's quite large for him, but I think it works really, really well. He seems to enjoy it a lot, and he's done really well since I've had him in here. So I'm going to go ahead and shut the door to his cage now that I'm done showing it to you guys, and then I will go and turn his fogger back on. He likes it. As I mentioned before, carpet chameleons aren't extremely popular in the pet community by any means, and unfortunately when it comes to owning rarer animals, it also typically means you don't have as much information on them. So while the care that I've been giving him seems to be working awesome, he seems to be doing really well, by no means do I want to say that like this is exactly how you should care for them or anything, because to be honest, I'm still learning. Obviously I did my research before. I don't think I just impulsively bought him knowing nothing or whatever. Like, that's not the case at all, so don't worry about that. Like I said, there's just not a lot of information out there, and the information that is out there oftentimes tends to contradict each other, so I kind of had to go with my gut, do what I think is right, see what's working, what's not working, and stuff like that. Some of the examples of care differences would be things such as glass enclosures or screen enclosures. Now, some people might be thinking, well, duh, screen enclosures, it's chameleon. Well, screen enclosures are necessary for a lot of species of chameleons, such as field chameleons. They're not necessary for every single species of chameleon out there. There's tons of different chameleons, and some of them actually do just fine in glass cages. It just tends to be the popular chameleons you see, such as field and panther chameleons, are ones who need screen cages. So some people think that glass is better for carpets, some people think that screen is better for carpets. I decided to go with a screen cage based on my research and stuff. I did feel like a screen cage would be better. Typically the only benefit to glass over screen is that it does hold humidity in better, which I'm not going to lie is something I have struggled with in this cage. So in order to combat that, I do need to run a fogger on it. If I don't run the fogger, his humidity doesn't stay high enough. So yeah, there is some upsides and downsides to both, but overall I did decide to go with a screen cage for better ventilation, and yeah, I decided to go with the screen cage. Another common thing I see about them is their heating. Some people say that you should have a basking spot of 90 degrees or 85 degrees, and then other people say you don't need any heating at all and you should just keep them in room temperature. Honestly, I've seen both quite often, and I again had to kind of figure it out for myself what I wanted to do. I decided to give him a basking spot because I feel like if I were to provide him with a basking spot where he could go 90 degrees, 85 degrees, whatever, it would obviously be in one corner of the cage. So if he didn't want that heat, he could walk away from it. He could go to the other side, he can crawl down, whatever. Like, it's not like he's forced to be in the heat all the time. Although I can say in the time that I've had him, I see him basking almost every single day. So in my opinion, they definitely use the basking spot. I feel like after seeing him bask so frequently, I wouldn't feel comfortable just keeping him at room temperature. He really does seem to enjoy the basking spot. He uses it every single day. Like I said though, there's a lot of conflicting information out there about their care, so I did kind of have to do a lot of research and make decisions for myself. There was really no clear answer on how to care for them, so I'm just doing what I think is best and what works for me. So with all of that said, I think that I will end this video here. I hope you guys enjoyed meeting my new little chameleon. I completely just realized I have not ever said his name in this entire video, and that's because I don't know his name. If you guys have seen my videos before, you guys know I'm so bad at coming up with names for my animals. I literally can never do it. I usually have to get you guys to give me name suggestions, and like I don't know why. I'm so indecisive when it comes to names. I've had him for quite a while now and he doesn't have a name. So once again, if you guys want to leave me name suggestions in the comments below, please do that because he needs a name. But like, I have no creativity. I can't come up with a name myself, so please help me. Anyways, there he is. I hope you guys enjoyed meeting him. I'm excited to finally introduce him to you. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in my next video. If you're not already, be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss more awesome videos like this one. Also be sure to follow all of my social media. Everything is EmmaSam99, but it will be in the description below. We're getting close to 10,000 followers on Instagram, so I would love it if you head over there and give me a follow, because I would love to reach 10,000 followers by the end of this year. So love to have you there, really would. Anyways, yes, be sure to subscribe and like and follow me and do all of that stuff. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video.